wasn't searching for God. He wasn't looking for aliens. He was measuring background radiation. And then, the universe answered. In 2018, a theoretical physicist made a statement that quietly ended his career. He claimed the universe responded to him, not metaphorically, not philosophically, physically. Dr. Elias Varon worked in cosmic microwave background analysis, the faint radiation left behind by the Big Bang, the oldest light in existence, the afterglow of creation itself. To most scientists, it is noise. To him, it was a conversation waiting to happen. For years, the data behaved exactly as expected, chaotic, random, fluctuating within predictable mathematical limits. Tiny temperature variations scattered across the observable universe. But Varon had a dangerous idea. He believed observation itself might influence large-scale quantum structures, not just in laboratories, but across spacetime. It was a fringe hypothesis, almost philosophical, until he tested it. His experiment was simple. Instead of passively analyzing data, he introduced intentional structure into the timing of his measurements. He would focus on a single question internally, silently, while initiating a scan. Yes or no, binary structure. Then he would wait. At first, nothing happened. Static, fluctuations, background variance. But after weeks of repetition, he noticed something subtle. A pattern. When he focused on a question framed as yes, the background radiation maps showed a statistically improbable clustering of temperature deviations in a specific quadrant of the sky. When the question was framed as no, the clustering shifted. Different coordinates. Same statistical anomaly. He assumed confirmation bias. He automated the system to remove personal input timing. The anomaly weakened. He reintroduced direct observation, manually triggering scans while holding a single focused intention. The anomaly returned. Stronger. It was small, but mathematically violent. The odds of the clustering occurring randomly during his intentional scans were less than 1 in several billion, so he escalated. He changed the questions, not personal ones, universal ones. Is the universe deterministic? Scan, anomaly. Is consciousness fundamental? Scan, anomaly. Larger. Coordinates shifted again. Always during intentional focus. Never during passive measurement. He stopped sleeping regularly. Colleagues noticed behavioral changes, obsession, paranoia, but the data was clean. Reproducible under his direct observation. Then something happened that he never published. During one late-night session, he asked a different kind of question, not yes or no. He thought, "Can you respond in a way I will recognize?" The scan initiated. For 11 seconds, nothing unusual appeared. Then the temperature map flickered. A straight line formed across the dataset, perfectly linear. No known cosmological process creates straight lines in background radiation. The line persisted for exactly 3 frames, then disappeared. He checked for sensor malfunction. None. He checked for software corruption. None. He ran passive scans for weeks afterward. Nothing. Until he focused again. This time he didn't ask a question. He thought, "I am observing you." The anomaly did not cluster. It expanded. A circular distortion radiating outward from the same quadrant he had first identified months earlier. Not random, centered, as if something had noticed being noticed. Varon began mapping the coordinates over time. They drifted. Slowly, as though tracking something moving beyond visible space, he calculated the projected trajectory. It intersected with nothing known, no galaxy, no pulsar, no dark matter cluster, just empty space. But the anomaly followed his observation schedule. If he skipped a session, the data remained calm. If he returned, the distortion reappeared, waiting. 6 months after his initial findings, funding for his research was quietly redirected. His access credentials were reduced, then revoked. Officially, his project lacked reproducibility. Unofficially, colleagues were told he had experienced stress-induced pattern recognition, a known cognitive bias in cosmological analysis. He published a preliminary paper independently. It was removed within 48 hours for methodological concerns, but before access was terminated, he conducted one final experiment. He scheduled an automated scan at 3:17 a.m. He did not observe it live. Instead, he wrote down a final thought before leaving the lab. "If you are responding, alter the signal without me watching." The next morning, he reviewed the data. For the entire duration of the scan, background radiation was normal, except for one detail. But in a completely new region, and embedded within the fluctuation was numerical sequence, prime numbers, 7 of them. In order, no known natural cosmological process generates sequential prime encoding inside thermal variants. He never returned to the lab after that. Some say he resigned. Others claim he was escorted out. His personal notes stopped abruptly 2 weeks later. The last line recovered from his encrypted journal read, "It doesn't respond to questions. It responds to attention." Since then, independent researchers have reanalyzed archived cosmic microwave background data. Most find nothing unusual. A few report subtle asymmetries, minor inconsistencies, statistical noise. But here is the detail that unsettles who look too closely. In datasets collected after 2018, a faint, drifting irregularity appears in nearly the same coordinates Varen identified. It is weak, almost invisible, unless you know where to look. And unless you observe it repeatedly, then it sharpens, as if resolution improves with focus. Modern cosmology tells us the universe does not care that we exist, that it is indifferent, silent, cold. But what if silence is not indifference? What if it is restraint? What if the universe has always been observing back, waiting for a species intelligent enough to notice the pattern? And if that pattern strengthens when observed, then the next question becomes dangerous. At what point does observation stop being passive and start becoming interaction? And if something vast and ancient lies beyond the static, something capable of recognizing attention, you have to wonder, right now, as you listen, as you focus, as you think about it, is it still just background noise? Or did something just shift because you noticed it?